The Vineco Moscato Rosé. What a beauty of a kit. Now, this method of mixing bentonite is not my own method. This was suggested by a viewer, and man, I gotta say they were right. This is the best method for mixing bentonite that I've tried so far. The blender absolutely obliterates this stuff and makes it so creamy smooth. There was not a single chunk in this whole thing. A quick rinse with a cup going into the primary, and it's like crystal clean. The rest of the primary is super easy to mix. You just take our juice bag, dump that in, and then fill the rest with water. Before I put the bentonite in there, you've seen me add an additional jug of RO water. And that was just to make sure that I could get that bentonite nicely mixed. And I don't know, I feel better about doing that before I just put the juice in. Maybe it's just me. I don't know if it actually makes any difference. I do also give the juice bag a good solid rinse out. And I just put the same water that I'm putting into the primary in there. So nothing fancy. Whether or not I should leave that behind, I don't know. The smarter people, hopefully on the forum here, will let me know or on the comments below. I'm sure there's better winemakers out there than myself. Once I've got this stuff vigorously stirred up, I make sure to get my hydrometer reading and record that for later on. We're going to need that to determine our alcohol percentage. The yeast that came with this wine kit was the standard EC1118, and I just sprinkle that on top. I don't know if you even need to sprinkle it like I do or just dump it on there. It probably doesn't make any difference at all. Then I place it on the tile floor there, which is heated to 24 degrees, and put an airlock on the top and let it go. So for day number 14, before we can do anything according to the instructions, we need our hydrometer reading. I think it was 0.996 or below, and it definitely is at its 0.994. So we're good to go there. You can see here, I messed this up. That siphon fell down to the bottom, and you can see that first bit is just solid yeast sediment. You can see it in the pail there as well. I did pull it up. The rest is clear. I know it's not the end of the world. It just maybe frustrates me that I ended up doing that. The rest of it ended up coming out really nice. I got just about everything out of that primary fermenter into the secondary. Now at this stage as well, we're going to add the sorbate and sulfates, and that's just to get that fermentation to stay stopped after we do our back sweetening tomorrow. And we're also going to start the clearing process by adding our Kitoson. I give this all a good stir. Make sure to stir it out until you get the wine totally degassed as well. So the next day, as mentioned, we are going to put the reserve in. Now that our wine should be totally stabilized, and this should not kick up another ferment. There again, you can see the sediment kind of kick up from the bottom from my error the previous day. But whatever, live and learn. And the wine did end up turning out, so you'll see the tasting towards the end of the video. This one came with a remarkable quantity of reserve. At least to me, it seemed like it was a heck of a lot. It stirred up easier than I thought it was going to. I was a little hesitant there, thinking, man, this stuff is never going to dissolve, but it actually dissolved right away. There was no problem at all. This is probably about the most dramatic clearing I've ever seen as far as speed goes. Or maybe I just haven't paid enough attention that I've seen it almost instantaneously. But as soon as I get the Kitoson, thank you to the viewer that commented on my pronunciation. It's not Kitoson, apparently it's Kitoson. But you can see it now already, just after the stirring. You can see that the binding is already happening and it's starting to clear. So 5 days after we put the clearing agent in, it's important to give the carboy a good twist in either direction, and you can see how much sediment it just releases and that's going to just then fall and settle to the bottom of the carboy. On day 26, this is the final racking. This step is optional, but I do like to do this step. I do feel like it gives me a cleaner wine in the bottle. Now, the only thing I don't like that it's going on here is that hose for my siphon. It just seems to be a little bit too short. I got to remember to start putting my carboy on a chair or closer to that bottom. I'd feel much better with me not aerating that wine. So the first third of that carboy is just getting aerated way too much for my liking. I don't know if it changes the flavor at all. The information that I've looked up all just kind of seems like aerating wine is a bad thing to do. Unless it's a red wine prior to drinking, then aeration or getting oxygen through the wine does enhance the flavor. But because this is a rosé and this is going into storage, I just don't think this is a good thing. I do manage to get just about everything sucked out of the carboy. There isn't a whole heck of a lot of sediment left behind, so happy about that. Turns out super clear. And this is also looking through more than just one wine. There's one behind there. So very happy with how the clearing worked out. Now, because I don't know how long this is going to sit in storage, I am going to add 4 Camden tablets, and that's according to the instructions, to help this stay preserved for a longer length of time. I don't know about this white stuff. You always get this when you do the Camden tablets on the top. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I don't know. Maybe it just makes me feel a little uneasy. Now, the part of this that kind of makes it okay for me is when I do go into bottling, I don't show the carboy at the end, but all of that stuff that's kind of on the top just sticks to the sides of the carboy as I'm siphoning out to fill my bottles. Ooh, look at that chickster. Not even going to talk for the camera today? I'd shake him no. Bonus tip here, if you're needing to fill the last part of the bottle, if you pull up just slightly, it slows down the flow, lets you get it right to where you want it. And the right level is right to the top of the bottle, because by the time you pull out your auto siphon, it ends up being perfect. And as you can see, it's doable with one person. 2 makes it easier. And for the moment of truth, the Moscato Rosé. Fortunately, this one had to go in a dark bottle. It's not quite full either. So this will be the one that we're just going to drink because we can. That is a lovely clear glass of wine, considering that's the bottom of the carboy, so the other ones are going to be better. Smells good. Definitely tell this one's a little bit higher content of alcohol than the white pear, but very nice. This one, probably a month of age will make it taste a little sweeter, I think, a little bit mellower, but This is drinkable right now. There's no waiting time needed here. In fact, that is just a delicious wine. Very nice evening sipping wine for no other reason than that you can. Till next time, take care, guys.